I'm back. Well, in my animation, I have a character. Let's see if I can find him. That someone commented, this guy right here. Someone commented a long time ago that his hair looks somewhat like this character Naruto. Now, I was not familiar with Naruto, so any resemblance was unintentional. Um, and so there he is. I don't know if he really looks like him, but I hopped online and I found a reference picture. There he is. There's Naruto. So I thought, you know what? Before I get serious today, since I did a video earlier today about Krita, I'm going to go ahead and draw Naruto. And I'm going to draw Naruto in Krita. Just because I can. Okay, so I've got this reference image. At first, I actually went in and drew some lines to sort of get a measure where the eyes are relative to the nose, mouth, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't that helpful. I mean, you can see that probably the distinguishing characteristic of this guy is that his mouth is on the high side. In fact, I would even, let me do this. Let me just go like that and color his mouth out. Now, if I was just drawing a character, I would have a tendency to do that. So that makes him a little different than what my normal tendency would be. Nothing wrong with that, perfectly good character. So, but anyway, just for the heck of it and for something to do, I'm going to go ahead and draw Naruto. Now, immediately, one of the useful things about Krita that we can appreciate is that you've got mirrored drawing by hitting this button right here. Now, I think I did another, seems like I did a video at one point where I showed how you can do mirrored drawing in OpenToons as well. So I'm not going to demonstrate that here, but what I'm doing is I'm just feeling where things seem like they want to go, where they should be. And that seems like it's pretty close. It looks like the tops of his ears kind of line up with his eyes and then come down to maybe about there. So and they sort of jut out a bit. He's got big-ish ears, not huge, but big-ish. We'll go ahead and do that, even though mirroring's on it. Probably shouldn't be exactly the same on both sides, but and then at the top of his ears, he's got this headbandy kind of thing, and I'm thinking right now about the distance to the top of the headbandy thing. Seems like it'd be about there. So it's funny because when you see things in your mind before you draw them, there's a definite feeling that goes with, like, you can just feel where it's supposed to go. Now this guy's got big irises, alright, and I can already see a problem. Let me take the irises off and then check something here on the eyes. Okay, my sense is that the whole head is actually a little bit too narrow. I'm not sure. Now, I've got my hotkeys in Krita set up to be similar to what I'm used to in OpenToons. So I hit the S key, which I assigned to the outline tool, and I assigned the A key to the transform tool because that's kind of like the animate tool in OpenToons. So I'm just going to make his face a little bit wider, and then that means if we're going to continue to do the mirrored drawing, then we need to move the center point just a little bit. Alright, so it's always a good exercise to draw someone else's character. I know another problem we have actually is right here. His nose is too. See, you can see the bottom of his ears and his nostrils. So is his. I kind of had his nose just. Oops. Had his nose just a little bit too low. All right. So we'll do that, and then the mouth again. I'm marking that as being kind of a little higher up than normal. And again, I see another problem now, which is that this is a little bit too high. So, that's what happens is you make mistakes and then you fix them. Okay, and I don't like the level of that, so I'm going to just fix it. Kind of like that, and this guy's got, I guess we could turn the mirroring back on at this point, matter of fact. Again, I actually did another attempt here just a little bit ago before I started the video, and frankly I think I did better the first time. It's not bad, but it's not quite right. The thing is, it's got to be right. You know, there, that's better. That's better, and how about that? Yeah, not too bad. Boom. Okay, and obviously I'm just going to allow this to be symmetrical at this point. Yeah, this is my first attempt. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Polyline Tool now. Yeah, that'll work. Back to the B key. So we've got this thing right about there. And a lot of times what happens when it comes to measuring is that you go along and you think, you know, this looks okay, and then you get to a certain point where there are certain things that are certain distances apart, and then all of a sudden you recognize ways that maybe you got your measuring wrong. In my opinion, his mouth is too narrow. Probably about there. Okay. Something like that. Okay. You got to hit Control-Shift-A afterwards. And honestly, my opinion is that I don't like his eyes. Not sure what I did wrong. I'm just going to try again. Now, having done that, I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, is it pretty close to right? Let's do this in our tool options. Let's use this thing. And just stretch that a little bit. That was kind of a kludgy way to do it because it's not, it kind of broke the mirroring a little bit, but that's okay. Okay. So now it's a matter of getting his eyes correct. And obviously eyes are very important. To making a character look, you know, like who they are. I'm sitting here making faces. Oops. Probably better turn the mirroring off. While back on again. That seems closer to me. Okay. So, yeah. The mirroring thing is definitely kind of useful. Bam, bam. Okay. And turn this back on. Too long. Sorry. My sense is that these guys are going just a little too far. Oops. Got to keep remembering to turn the mirroring off. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it. Yep, I see an issue. You want to catch these issues as early as possible. That's better. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would say the basic thing that makes Naruto look like Naruto is mainly his high mouth and slightly wide set eyes. Those seem to be the key distinguishing characteristics, don't they? Okay, so what about ink? What about paint? Well, okay. In this case, we can cheat a bit because obviously with a sample image, we have the ability to sample colors directly from it. So when you can cheat, you should cheat. That's like a rule. However, I am going to create another layer, and just to be strict about it, I'm going to grab this pen, and I'm going to grab that color, something like that, and I'm going to ink this guy. Alright, Control middle mouse drag, and yes, I see the problem. I do see the problem. Yeah, that area right there should be sort of cropped. So I'm going to go stabilizer, and as much as I can, go ahead and, like I said, use the mirroring. I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Okay. So I might as well just do it, baby. I'm going to make the line a little darker now. Okay. I need to turn the stabilization way down. So that's another good thing in Krita is the stabilizer. It's pretty useful. Mm-hmm. All right. And again, let me go ahead and crank the opacity up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably actually making the outlines on this guy more finer, I guess you might say, than they need to be. So I'm going to actually go ahead and crank up my brush a couple notches wider, just because I can. Alright, so now I'm going to get this. Alright, so if we're going to be strict about it, we probably should crank the stabilizer back up to get this line. And then if you want to get these little detailed shapes, you have to go pretty slow with the stabilizer turned on. Okay. So cool. Okay, so slightly darker here. One could argue, okay, that maybe I should be using a different brush that's got a little bit more play to it. Let's try this one. I may regret this. Yeah, that's definitely not going to work. Let's see here. Yeah, that's not horrible. Let's crank it way down. to about 5 to, or maybe 10. Okay, let's give that a try. Not bad, maybe not perfect. Okay, back to my trusty inking brush. Nope, not big enough. Control Z, boom, boom, boom. And not light enough. In my opinion, yeah, it's better. Okay. Stabilizer's cranked pretty good. Let's go ahead and just try giving a slightly blue tint to the irises. Okay, that didn't work. I made it too big. That's better, and it kind of suggests that maybe his pupil should be in a slightly different spot. Yeah, I think so. Alright, and then I'm going to go back to a brown tinted brush and get these guys. Okay. Not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay, so should I use the Polyline tool? I think not. Since I've got the stabilization cranked up so much, I'm just going to do this kind of the old-fashioned way. Demand a steady hand. Okay. Now, I'm going to also make it a point here to delineate the inside of his eye for painting purposes. If I go over those other lines a little bit, I don't really care because I think I probably made them slightly aggressive anyhow. Okay, so now let's turn this off, and that's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this guy, crank it back up, and then I probably should save my work, so I'm just going to call this Naruto. It's definitely a good exercise. And I'm going to have to use the eraser here. Whoopsie poo. Got to turn mirroring off, or else I'll erase my reference drawing by accident. Or as people from here in Indiana say, on accident. We can see a little issue right here. So let's crank in. Alright, and then boom. I think we're probably okay to just, yeah. Okay, that's going to fall into the shadow zone a little bit. Oops. Okay, so now this is going to underscore the value of having a character guide. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and let's get these shadow markings in there, just because in this case I don't think I want to do this with shadows. I actually want to color it in. So what I'm going to do is hit the sampler, which is Control click. Cool. Boom, boom. And then kind of similar thing over here. And frankly, that's going to be colored in all the way. Okay, so the question now becomes, do we want to color it on a separate layer or on the same layer? What I'm going to do, since we have the, let me check something here. Okay, yeah, since we've got the reference layer anyway, why not we'll just kind of get this out of the way, and we'll use this layer for our coloring too. So that means we go click here and then hit the F key, and it's in eraser mode. Hit the E key, boom. Okay, what's going on? What's going wrong here? Let me see what happens if we fill here. Okay. For some reason, it's filling white. Ah, I have the erase brush invoked. So, my bad. Let's try this again. And we are trying to fill on the underlying layer. So what's interesting about this is that this color, which I sampled here, doesn't look like the same color to me. But yet it is. So that's kind of confusing. Interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting how... Whoast. Okay, what the heck is up with that? Sample that. Okay, see what... For some reason, this is something I mentioned earlier today. I mean, okay. Control, sample. I mean, is that the correct color? It's not even close. Okay. So it appears to me, as near as I can tell, that Krita's color sampling is a bit strange. A bit strange indeed. I'm on the correct layer, so there's really no reason. That one seems to be good, but it's not. Isn't that strange? I'm in normal mode, so it should just be painting the color, but after I sample it, boom, it is clearly not sampling the correct color. So if anybody has some insight into what the heck is going on here, I don't have a clue. So with that, we're going to have to improvise. So I'm going to improvise and say, since this is just a little demo video, I'm not going to cry about the bugs in the program, such as they seem to be. I'm just going to go ahead and forge ahead with it. And we'll cry about it later. Okay, and so you can see it will be necessary to do some brush touch-up on the fills. That's one of the things you always find with Krita, is you gotta go ahead and touch things up. So I'm gonna just lighten that blue a little bit, and then we'll lay in this gray. We'll finish those details later. Okay, so obviously we have kind of a border zone here that Krita missed, so apparently we have a leak. And we still, oh wait, well, it shouldn't matter actually what layer we're on. I guess the respecting other layers for fill purposes only makes sense if you're on a higher layer. Is that right? That's the way it seems to be behaving. Let's give this a try. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that, and now I know this isn't exact in terms of the way it is in the other picture, but let's just see what happens. Yeah, it will not fill. Well, maybe it will now. Okay, so it seems like the tool options, it seems like, yeah, fill entire selection is not invoked. So what we see here is all the lines are on that level or layer, and it does definitely appear to me that this shape and this shape are closed, but yet Krita will not fill it properly. So what do you do? Once again, not going to cry about it. It is what it is. Maybe if we try it in reverse. Alright, so I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to go paint in some of the white color, and again, it won't work. So, alright, is there another way? Well, we can hit the B key, and let's do preserve alpha. And now if I color this in, we're going to get a crap paint job, because because, well, you can see why I don't need to explain it. So for me, yeah, a little frustrating, but because obviously the very idea that I have to do the manual painting of this entire section is ludicrous. Ludicrous. But there it is. It's what you get. So you get what you pay for, and since Krita is free, as is OpenTunes, as is Blender, as is a lot of software. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and touch this up a bit. Okay, so now what about shadows? Well, first of all, actually, what about his eye? In his eye, we need to okay, this is actually becoming really strange. Oh, it's because preserve alpha is still on. Okay. Okay, I get it. That's my fault. I'm good. Uh-huh. Okay. And let's try a fill here and see what happens. That seems to be doing okay. And by the way, I'm very aware that my initial paint lines were not really thick enough. And there's another problem, which I'm sure many of you are screaming at your computers right now saying, Dave, what about... I know. What about this part that I completely left out? We don't want to go quite that thick. So this is kind of unfortunate because I really gave myself a bit of extra work to do here. So let's see if we can make it happen anyway. And now that, oh my gosh, same thing. It won't fill it. Ah! Okay. I'm going to actually, so I haven't gotten very far today before I've had to resort to kludges and extra fun little fix-ups. Very much against my will, but that's what we have. So that's what we're going to deal with. Alright. Shrink our brush down by hitting shift and drag. And then basically I'm literally going to paint this the hard way, and hard in the sense that as hard a way as you could possibly have. And it appears to me that the world is still turning, so I guess it's not too horrible. Oops. Okay, and because of the brush that I chose, I'm getting getting some bleed over happening here. Okay, so that's kind of a step in the right-ish direction. Let's play with this. Let's play with this thing. Okay, well, we're gonna have a. I'm gonna put this in overlay mode, so it actually creates a shadow. Oops. Okay, so I guess I need to do this. Let's put the opacity down a bit. Okay, not bad. I like that. And so now let's go. Let's put this. I'm not going to try to make this exact. Okay, I really kind of erred big time by leaving the mirroring turned on. So that goes to there. Will we get lucky? Will it fill? Okay, except we still need the opacity turned down, and there's no way we'll get it exactly right. There's no way. So therefore, what we need to do, well, this is what happens. You know, you get into a project and you just bump into weird stuff. So what are you going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly outline this shape and hope that Krita can understand my intent. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is turn the opacity here down. Boom. Okay, that's kind of sort of okay. And then I'm going to hit this twice, 3 times. That's fine. Okay, so now we're back in business, it would seem. So B key, little larger. Got to turn the opacity up. Boom. Hello, where's the opacity? Sorry, don't have a dark enough color. Fooled myself there. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay, that's lame. Okay, so before I go any further, I'm gonna reboot here a little bit. Boom. 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 It's not perfect, but not horrible. Okay, so let's go with this and then make it just slightly darker in order to even darker with a little bit of saturation in it. Okay. In fact, I'm going to grab this color and then just go slightly lighter from there. Yeah, that's okay. That's not like perfect, but it's okay. So now that gets us close. So now, boom, brush. Okay, that's interesting once again. Seems like the color was a little off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is deal with shadows, and because I'm not wanting it to take, you know, like forever, I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Hit the B key, boom, turn the stabilizer back on, and let's go fill that. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to turn the opacity down considerably, but also turn on preserve alpha, or inherit alpha. And inherit alpha, literally for the first time ever, doesn't appear to work. So there's probably something obvious that I'm overlooking. There probably is something really obvious that I'm overlooking here that's causing inherit alpha to not work. Okay. Nope. Okay, so can we adjust this and make it work? I don't know. I'm going to put another layer in so that I can have a layer that's got a little bit of a different opacity level on the fill. Okay, and then I'm going to just go back in and erase over that a little bit. Having a hard time getting it exact because literally my stylus is covering up the part of the drawing that I'm trying to work with. Okay, so now we need this line, and we need this right here. Probably can do a fill operation on that, and not totally thrilled with these whisker things. I don't know what the story is on that. Why does Naruto have whiskers? Is he like half cat or something? I don't. I literally don't know. I've never watched the show. Don't know anything about it, really. Okay. Let's put in these things. And then let's put in, let's go ahead and add a little bit more interesting layer of highlight here, just because we can. So we're sort of trying to improve on what we see here. Alright, and definitely not happy with, let me make sure I got my layers right. I'm gonna, okay, stop. Okay, yes, it's this layer. Okay. I'm sorry, I made a boo-boo. And I'm going to take, let's see, let's sample that color, and then make a dark version of it. Grab this brush, but go up to like 4, I would say. Okay, yeah, that'll work, but I need to turn on the stabilizer. Stabilizer, come to my rescue. There, that's not too bad. There is one thing missing though, actually. Yep. The shadow under his eyes, right here. B key. Gotta make it bigger. Okay. Is it perfect? No. Is it close? Yeah, it's close. I'm going to go up a couple notches here and actually make my brush semi-transparent. Actually, when you're trying to make outlines that are interacting better with the underlying colors, sometimes the best way to do it is to just make the brush transparent, and then obviously some of the underlying color just sort of bleeds through. It's actually a really good way to do it. So we'll go like this, and so this would be my first attempt at drawing Naruto. I would say it's modestly successful. I can see a couple things right now that are probably incorrect. Like one thing I did wrong is his hair. His hair's kind of goofied up because I was actually packing this shape into too small of a space. So, you know, whatever. Alright, and now let's add a layer underneath and take a big airbrush or something with kind of an interesting color and just kind of, what's going on? What's going on? Why is the airbrush not working at all? It is working. Oh, there it is. I forgot about the background. Silly me. Silly me. Alright. Okay, so that's my rendition of Naruto. The guy who apparently I stole the hairdo of inadvertently. Didn't mean to. But there it is. So anyway, there's 38 minutes well spent, right?